welcome everybody. You can hear me. My name is Ranger Dave. We're here in Katmai National Park. We're at the Riffles platform right now, watching brown bear family fishing for sockeye salmon. This is bear number 402. And here are 2 yearling cubs. We're on the Brooks River, and just below the fall. I'll pan over so you can see where a lot of other bears like to hang out. Some of the more prime fishing spots are up by the falls here, but oftentimes sows with cubs will hang out down here and try to fish to stay away from some of those larger, more aggressive male bears. So all that pouncing that this bear is doing is she's trying to jump on sockeye salmon that are swimming up the river. And she's teaching her cubs how to fish. At the same time, they're going to be watching pretty intently and learning everything they can from her. So we're on, if you're not familiar with Brooks Camp, we're on an elevated platform, a viewing platform where we can somewhat safely watch these wild bears in their natural habitat. I'm from California. I'm here for the summer and hopefully for longer. I'm a ranger here at Katmai, and if you're not familiar with the area, we're on the Alaskan Peninsula. So if you're just tuning in, my name's Ranger Dave. We're in Katmai National Park at Brooks Camp. We're on the Riffles platform. That's an elevated viewing platform. And we're watching bear number 402 and teach her yearling cubs how to fish down at the Riffles here. If you're interested in seeing more live footage of brown bears, check out explore.org. They have webcams set up all over the park and all over the world. You can see some really cool live footage of wild animals at explore.org. It's pronounced Riffles with 2 F's. So the water ripples over the rocks. A lot of the white water you see is just water moving, but if you kind of focus in on one spot, you might be able to see some kind of moving rapids, and those are actually fish swimming up the river. The babies are, his cubs are yearlings, so this is their 2nd summer. I don't know what class rapid this is, probably not a class 5. So if we watch long enough, we're pretty likely to see her actually catch one. So these cubs can swim. The water's not actually that deep where they are, but even in deeper, more swift water, they are able to swim. They are aware of our presence. These bears are habituated to humans being in kind of predictable places. We have 2 viewing platforms set up along the river, along the upper river here. And anybody's welcome to come visit the park. It's only accessible by plane or boat. It's very difficult to get here, but we have tens of thousands of people visit the park every year, and most of us come to watch these bears on these viewing platforms. They're very used to people being here. And they are fishing for sockeye salmon. These are brown bears, a little bit different than grizzly bears. And grizzly bears are actually a subspecies of brown bear. You would take a boat from Lake Camp, right outside the park, and you would boat over from there across Neck Lake. It's a couple hours journey. There's also no roads into King Salmon, which is the closest town, so you typically would fly there and take a float plane or a boat from King Salmon out to Brooks Camp or anywhere in Katmai. Right now the sun's going down at about around 11:30 or so. It's 8:33 here at the moment. Temperature is about maybe low 70s, high 60s. It's 8:30 here. It doesn't get dark at this time of year until around 12 o'clock or so. These bears are fishing for sockeye salmon. She got one. If you're just tuning in, we're in Katmai National Park at Brooks Camp on Brooks River. And this is bear number 402. We monitor all of our bears here. We don't use radio collars or tags or anything like that, but we can identify them by their individual features. If you want to learn more about that, you can check out our free ebook, Bears of Brooks Camp, where you can learn a lot about some of the individual bears here and start identifying them. You can check out the bears anytime live on explore.org. So it seems that mother brown bears really don't share their fish with their cubs. They will tolerate them kind of stealing some fish from them, but they really don't typically bring it to them and give them any of the fish. It looks like this cub's having a hard time in the water. Probably going to come out the shore. And as that's happening, we've got another sow with cubs showing up. Mother bears keep their cubs for about 2.5 to 3.5 years, sometimes 4.5. That's pretty rare. Usually 2.5, 3.5 years, and they'll emancipate their cubs. Yeah, so we're not in danger right now. We're viewing these bears from the elevated viewing platform. If you're just tuning in, we're coming to you from Katmai National Park on the Alaskan Peninsula. It is difficult to get to Katmai. There are no roads to get here. So access is via either float plane or by boat. So mother bears typically don't intentionally share or give their cubs any fish. The cubs do eat fish, and the mother bear will kind of tolerate that cub from taking some fish from him, but typically they don't actually give their cubs fish. Bears are naturally aggressive. I wouldn't say they're necessarily naturally aggressive towards humans specifically. They are very aggressive creatures that you have to, really always use certain behaviors around so they can predict what we're going to do. That way we can predict what they're going to do. Our costs to fly in vary based on who you're going with. It's usually around I believe around $300 round trip from King Salmon. You still have to get to King Salmon, and that's also kind of a bush town in Alaska that you can only access by plane. So it's Katmai National Park, and it is open to visitors. Access is via float plane or by boat. And for anyone watching from Explore.org, this is a bear that I've not seen before. I'm thinking possibly 284. I'll have to check the bear book. If anyone who's been watching the cams knows which bear this is, feel free to cue it in the comments. Yeah, I definitely love being here. Every day is an adventure. So we're just gonna follow those guys while we're on the viewing platform. So as that family group takes off, we'll kind of zoom in on another bear here. So they definitely know that we're here. They're very used to seeing people on the viewing platforms. If we stay in kind of predictable places, their behavior also becomes predictable. They tend to just kind of ignore us and focus on getting enough food to eat for the winter. These bears have to eat all the food for a year within less than 6 months before they go out and hibernate. So it's really important that they pack on as many pounds as they can. You might notice that the bear we're looking at now has a bit of a wound on its rear end there. Bears often show up at the beginning of the season with scars and open wounds. Right now we're at the end of the mating season, so oftentimes male bears will be fighting for mates or fighting for a dominant fishing position. If anyone's just now tuning in, we are in Katmai National Park on the Brooks River, checking out some brown bears, some wild brown bears, fishing for salmon. Okay, so 708. Yeah, that's a bear I haven't seen yet, so that's cool. I'll have to check her out in the bear book and kind of relearn her story. It's always interesting to see a new bear, see new faces here, as the bears continue to show up. Seems like I'm learning a new bear every day now. So we don't tag any of the bears in Brooks Camp. We have this really unique situation where we're able to watch them, from these platforms, and they come back here every year to capitalize on really good fishing conditions. So really tagging them isn't necessary. We don't radio collar any of these bears. We want to, keep them wild and kind of preserve those natural processes that happen here in Brooks Camp. There is a program going on out on the Pacific coast of Katmai called the Changing Tides Project, where scientists are radio collaring about a dozen bears and tracking their movement and their behavior. Some of those collars are actually fitted with video cameras, so we can see what they're doing when they're in places that we can't see them, and how they're using their resources and how we affect them. I am a ranger here in Katmai National Park. So it looks like the action's kind of died down here at the Riffles platform for the moment. We're gonna head up to the falls, so I'm gonna end this broadcast and see what's going on up there and see if we can't start another one. So keep an eye out for us. We'll be broadcasting again in just a few minutes here.